Hello, and welcome all to a presentation I am making about Formula One and the Formula One fan page I created in its honor. I am Justin McCarthy, and I hope you enjoy the presentation. Over the course of this presentation, we will be discussing various things. We will start with the business I created, what it does, and what it contains. Secondly, we will discuss why it is I felt compelled to make this page, why it might benefit you. Thirdly, a brief introduction of Formula One will be given, which will lead into the fourth topic, Ayrton Senna, the greatest driver Formula One or indeed the world has ever produced. The fifth, sixth, and seventh topics will all be videos of some of the most important moments in Ayrton Senna's life and just as well the history of Formula One. The first video shows quite possibly the greatest lap in the history of Formula One. The second clip shows Ayrton Senna saving the life of fellow driver Eric Comas, and the third video shows the crash that would eventually go on to cause the death of Ayrton Senna. And finally, the last page of this presentation will reflect on prior topics. The name of the business I created is Justin's Formula One fan page, and it is just that, a fan page about Formula One by me. In it contains a brief history of Formula One, a list of the current top 5 drivers for this season, 3 other helpful Formula One links, and a commercial for the website.
My new Formula One fan site, Justin's Formula One fan page. I know how valuable your time must be to each and every one of you, which is why my fan page contains possibly the briefest history of Formula One the world has ever known. But don't let my fancy corporate words convince you why my fan page is best or why you should visit it. Let my exquisite slideshow do the work.
What my website does very well is that it saves time. The history of Formula One I provided is one of the briefest and most concise chronicles ever conceived. I only list the top 5 drivers as opposed to all 24. I provide a single place with which to easily access more detailed Formula One sites. If time is money, my site will save you money. A lot of it. Formula One is a form of motorsport thought to be among the most physically as well as mentally demanding. Formula One as we know it was founded in 1946 at the conclusion of World War II. However, its lineage predates this year by decades. Michael Schumacher by some is thought to be the greatest driver in the history of the sport, amassing an astounding 7 world championships. However, an equally if not stronger amount of people would disagree and list Ayrton Senna as the better driver. Presently, the Formula One season stretches from March to November over a course of 20 races that occurs in 20 separate countries with 24 drivers competing in 12 separate teams. Ayrton Senna, born March 21st, 1960, was a Brazilian Formula One driver who was killed in the 1994 race at Imola, Italy, and remains the last Formula One driver to ever die in a race. Over his career, Ayrton was world championship 3 times in 1988, 1990, and 1991. Ayrton actively raced in Formula One from 1984 to 1994, and in that time raced for Toleman, Lotus, McLaren, and Williams in that order. In that time span, Ayrton donated over $400 million to charity and leaves behind a legacy as one of the greatest drivers as well as one of the greatest men to ever live. This clip shows the lighter side of Formula One and is indeed why many believe Ayrton was the most beloved driver in the sport.
Friday morning was nice and sunny, but not for Eric Comas, who crashed heavily on the fast Blanchimont sweep before the pits. Ayrton Senna was the first to reach the scene of the crash, and he rushed to help the motionless Frenchman.
The car rotated at least twice. That took a lot of the speed away from the car before it hit the end of the tire wall, but a big impact for Comas. He was momentarily stunned, knocked out, but by the time the marshals got to him, he was beginning to come around. He was taken out of the car.
In the 1991 race at Spa Raceway, Belgium, Lotus driver Eric Comas lost control of his car during qualifying, resulting in an accident. Being first on the scene, Ayrton fearlessly got out of his McLaren and ran against oncoming traffic in order to save the life of Comas. Due to his accident, Comas loses consciousness with his foot still buried on the accelerator pedal. With fuel being pumped into the superheated non-running engine, explosion would have been inevitable, had Ayrton not risked his life to cut power from Comas's car. The following clip shows possibly one of the darkest days in the history of Formula One, the death of Ayrton Senna. Although it is not certain as to how exactly the crash that caused his death happened, it is believed by many that it was caused by a fracture in the steering column. The accident occurs in the second lap in the Turnberello corner at Imola Racetrack, Italy. Feeling the pressure from Schumacher in his much faster car, Ayrton was forced to push his car to the limits to keep Schumacher at bay. At this very moment, you can see where Ayrton begins to lose control, traveling at 307 kilometers per hour or 191 miles per hour in imperial.
Senna bateu forte. Ali na Tamburello. A batida muito.
Upon hitting the wall, Ayrton received massive head trauma when a component of his front suspension hit his helmet. Ayrton would be pronounced dead hours later in hospital. In conclusion, if you have an open mind, you may find Formula One to be very exciting. If not, my site will, at the very least, provide you with enough information to fake your way through a conversation about Formula One without taking too much of your time. I hope you had an enjoyable experience watching this presentation. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to visit the website, to which I have left a link below. Thank you and good night. But before I go, let me first show you the webpage.